Sebastian Martinez, MMAnytt, here with UFC lightweight Ross, the real deal Pearson. So, Ross, we're here in Poland now, and like you said, you're liking it, the prices are cheap. What do you think of the fans here, though? Because obviously they have a reputation for being very passionate.
Yeah, you know, you can feel the excitement, you can feel the tension, you can definitely tell that this fight's happening tomorrow. Yeah, I think it's a little bit like the unknown. The UFC's never been here before, so they don't know what to expect from a UFC event, but the excitement and the fans are definitely getting into it, and the type of people and fans that expect world-class fights, and they're going to expect some wars and some excitement, so I'm pretty sure they're going to get that on Saturday night.
I'm pretty sure you're correct on that point. I was wondering because, you know, you came up short against Iaquinta. He was recently involved in a pretty controversial decision with Jorge Masvidal, and I was wondering, as someone who spent, you know, some time in the cage with him and watching that fight, how did you think that decision was between Masvidal and Iaquinta? Do you think it was correct or not?
It was one of them fights, you know, I watched, and it's one of them fights that could have went either way. Definitely, I lost the first round big, and in the second two rounds, it was not a lot really. Masvidal moved, didn't really get into the fight. He didn't press to look for a finish. Al kind of took half a round off and scored some points at range. To me, it wasn't really an exciting, great fight to watch. It was one of them fights that could have went either way. I think looking back at it, damage. Definitely Masvidal won. Scoring points, Al won. Is it a fight that I would want to be in? Not at all. No, it wasn't exciting. None of the... Fighter's mentality. I always score damage higher than scoring points. So I'd say Masvidal 29-28.
Now, when it comes to MMA judging, there's never really a right way to do it. People never talk about it when it's done right. Everyone talks about it when they feel it's done wrong. Is there anything in particular that you think can be implemented to perhaps improve MMA judging?
Yeah, more fighters taking control. More fighters who have been in the octagon. More fighters that have felt what it feels like to be in a fight, actually judging. And it's only going to take time. A boxing judge who's critiquing a mixed martial arts fight is only going to score boxing rounds, is only going to score the stand-up. A jiu-jitsu guy is only going to score the guy on the ground, you know what I mean? So it has to be more mixed martial arts fighters getting involved in judging these fights. I feel unless you've been in there, felt what it feels like to win and feel like to lose a fight, you don't 100% know who's winning, you know, because sometimes you're on your back in a fight and the guy might not be doing a lot, but because he's in the top position, the guy's working on the bottom, the guy's still in control. Is the guy winning the fight? Maybe he's being active, but the guy on the top's just pinning, you know, so I felt that in fights. Fighters have felt that. Fighters understand that, and I think that's the path that we need to go down in the judging.
All right, I want to talk about another fighter that you're pretty familiar with, Maynard. Obviously, that was another fight that went very well for you, not just so much for him. He is now on a pretty bad losing streak, and a lot of fans have been throwing around the R word. You know, what do you think? I mean, obviously, I know that you don't want to hurt your opponents or anything like that, but I mean, he's had some pretty bad performances lately. Do you think he should continue?
Ultimately, that question's down for him. You know, I can't tell him that. I actually like Gray. I actually like him as a person. I wish him the best, you know, but to me, it doesn't look like his ability has gone downhill. It's all in his mind. When he's in the octagon, it's not the old Gray. It looks like the Gray that's thinking about something else, wanting to be somewhere else. That's not the Gray that was fighting for a world title like before that. And when I competed against Gray, the first round he came after us and he didn't really hurt us with anything, but there was some fight in him, and you can feel, like when you've been in a fight, you can feel that somebody's fighting and got about. But once I started fighting back and improving my position, and the Gray took us down, I got back up, and I wasn't going to give in to him. That little doubt in his mind it just switched the trigger, and I saw that just in his body language, in the way he was moving, just his mind just wasn't on it, and I felt that in the fight with him. I knew when it was time to step it up and put it on him, and I just think that he needs to evaluate what he wants to do, where he wants to go, and for sure, it's not the sport to play half-assed, so he's got a lot of questions to ask between himself, his family, his team. But no, deep down, I respect the guy a lot, and I wish him the best. And if it's his decision to call it a day, then fair enough, man. He's done a lot in this sport, and it was an honor to compete against him.
All right. Well, now, looking at your career, moving forward, you're coming off a win now. What would you say is there the next best logical step for you in the division?
I've been seeing it for like the last 3-4 fights. I want to fight the best guys in the world. These rankings, I don't pick names. I pick numbers. I want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I want to put my name in the ranking system and get up there. I want to make important fights. I want to put exciting fights on for the fans, and I believe in my ability. I believe that when I'm healthy, I'm fit, and I'm mentally prepared. I can beat anyone in the world. I can knock people out with feet, knees, hands. I'm a power puncher, and I'm always going to be in there to fight. So I'm a dangerous opponent for anyone, and I'm improving all the time. I'm getting more and more comfortable in there, and I want the best guys in the world. So looks like the top 10 is all pretty much booked out. So is it going to have to wait? Do I wait for a high-ranked opponent for my shot? What do you do? I've been in this sport for 6 years now. I've had some ups and downs, but I keep coming back, and I'm not going to stop until I get what I want.
It's like you're kind of like almost in the wrong division, because it's like lightweight is so stacked, like you're saying, and there's always like every choice you make has its consequence. If you wait, then you could miss out on something. If you take a fight against a lower-ranked opponent, for all you know, you might get an injury, and then you're out for even longer. It's like it's almost frustrating being in such a talent-rich division.
Yeah, for sure, it sucks, man. But it keeps you grinding, it keeps you motivated. It's exciting, you're always seeing something exciting, something dangerous, someone in the lightweight division who scares you, and that what improves you, that what keeps you pushing you to go forward and not stop. If you're in a weaker division and you think, oh, I'm do fine here, and sit back, and there's no sitting back in the lightweight division. You've always got to be ready, you've always got to be willing to fight, and you've got to be stepping your game up all the time, because it's getting more and more dangerous.
All right. Well, now your last victory against Sam Stout, very convincing. Knockout. I know you said most of the guys are booked, but if you were a matchmaker, is there anyone in particular that you feel would be an ideal opponent for you?
Yeah. Well, Josh Thompson called us out like 3 weeks ago, and I was 100% down for that fight. That's a fight that I wanted. I've been wanting it for a while. I think me and Josh would come out and put a great fight on for the fans. I know for a fact he'll try and wrestle us, but yeah, my wrestling's getting better and better, and I can knock people out. I believe that I can finish Josh Thompson, and that was the fight that I wanted. He got booked. So yeah, do I step in for someone who, if someone gets injured and take a short notice fight, I'm willing to do it. Anyone in the top 10, Cerrone, Pettis, Benson, Nate, Khabib, anyone in the top 10. There's that many names. I don't care. Like I said, I don't think of names, I think of numbers.
All right. Well, you've got the true fighter's mentality, and I'm sure that's what makes you so popular. Ross, thank you very much for your time. And now, moving back to you, your last fight unfortunately didn't go as planned. You came up short against. I'm sorry. Before, and I was wondering.
Delete that, man.
Yes.
Last one went pretty good.
Yeah, sorry. I meant before that. Yeah.